Hi, good day. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Daphne's lecture. In my last video for science, technology, and society, we have been discussing about the intellectual revolutions, which were the Copernican revolution, Darwinian revolution, and the Freudian revolution. And today's lecture, I'll be sharing with you about a new topic in science, technology, and society, and that is biodiversity. So we'll be discussing today about what is the concept of biodiversity and what are the three levels of biodiversity. Before we start on the three levels of biodiversity, let's have first understand what the main means by biodiversity. Now, what comes in your mind when you say biodiversity? When we say bio means life, and diversity means variety or many. So if you put it together, biodiversity means many kinds of life or variations of life. In a simple context, what do you mean say biodiversity then? Biodiversity is a variety of animals and plants found on this planet, including the geographic locations they are found in. For short, this biological diversity includes all organisms, species, and populations. The genetic variation among these, like and other complex assemblages of communities and ecosystems. It also refers to interrelatedness of genes, species, and ecosystems and their interactions with the environment. So means that when you say biodiversity, it is a it composes variations of life, including the animals and the plants found in planet Earth. And there are three levels or types of diversity. We have first the genetic diversity, then the species diversity, and the ecosystem diversity. Now, what do we mean when we say genetic diversity? This is diversity of genes within a species. And how about for species diversity? This is a diversity among species in an ecosystem. And ecosystem diversity is diversity of a habitat in a given unit area. Now, let us know more about this genetic diversity. But by the way, I would like to thank Google for this picture. I have captured this picture in Google. And now, when you say genetic diversity, this is the variety or variations of genes or inheritable characteristics present in the population. For example, genetic diversity of kinds of dogs. In dogs, there are many types, or genetic diversity. There's variations like we have the Chihuahua, the Beagles, the Rottweilers. Uh, these are all dogs, but they are not the same because of their genes are different. So basically, there in the picture, you will see that this Chihuahua has a different physical features or genes than the Beagles, than the Rottweilers, and any other kinds of dogs. So this is a specific example of how do you visualize genetic diversity. It's having, for example, species of dogs, but these dogs do not necessarily means that they only have one physical appearance. In fact, there are many kind of genes or breeds of dogs like the ones that you can see on the picture. There's also genetic diversity, variation of genes within the species, just like what the previous slide says. For example, variation in the eye color, the skin color, and height, weight, and many more. So dogs, there are many kinds of dogs. Dogs differ in their height. Dogs differ in their color. Dogs differ in their skin color and their eyes and their weight and everything. The same with human. So these are all human, but they differ in their height and their sizes and their skin color and their eyes and the features of their physical appearance. Another example of genetic diversity is the one that you can see on the picture. As you can see there in the picture, these are all kinds of corn. However, there are many kinds or variety or genes of corn. We have there the colorful corn. You have the purple corn right here. You have the yellow corn somewhere. You have the red corn, and there are many kinds of corn. Even in the Philippines, it's a different kind of corn as well. So this is the best example or the best illustration of genetic diversity in plants or in corns. And we also have genetic diversity in frogs. These are all frogs, but they have different genes or genetic aspects. As you can see, you have their yellow frog, green, and a lot. So just like mentioned, species diversity is a kind of species, but there are many kinds in that species. For example, there's a frog, species of frog, but there are many colors, different sizes, and different ways, just like the dogs and the cats and humans and plants as well. And this is an illustration of genetic diversity in bananas. These are all bananas, but they differ on how they look and in terms of size, in terms of color, okay, and in terms of their weight, okay, and so on and so forth, and including the people. Okay, it's just on the recent slide. This is also genetic diversity. These are all human beings, human race, but they differ on their genes, color of eyes, height, the face, and the facial structures. And next, if we have genetic diversity, then second is species diversity. Now, what is species diversity? It is defined as the number of species and abundance of each species in a given community. It's also a number that live in a certain location. Species richness is the most widely used diversity measure. Okay, let's see here in the next slide a specific example of a species diversity. So this is a species diversity. So the thing is that the species of animals, yet there are many kinds of animals. Based on the picture, you have there elephant, giraffe, hippopotamus, and pig, and a chicken, and a zebra, and any other else. So you have their animals, but there are different kinds of animals. Now the third is ecosystem. Now, what do we mean when we say ecosystem? So ecosystem defined area in which a community lives with interactions taking place among the organisms between the community and its non-living physical environment. And an ecosystem is formed by the interactions between all living and non-living things. In a simple context, ecosystem diversity is all the different habitats, biological communities, and ecological processes, as well as the variation within individual ecosystem. To further illustrate the ecosystem, this is how it looks like. Ecosystem is a combination of living and non-living things or organism living together in a single community. This is another illustration of a ecosystem. All the living and non-living things interacting in an area, and that is ecosystem. And that's it for a short lecture for today with regards to biodiversity and the types or levels of biodiversity. And on my next video, I'll be presenting to you on the next video the threats to biodiversity. What are the threats to biodiversity? What are the possible dangers can be considered as a threat to biodiversity? And if you think this video is helpful, please click like below or click the bell button for the notification to my next lecture videos. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again then soon. Thank you and have a good day.